Yo, Everyday Superpower signing in, where we talk about body language, non-verbal communication, and everything in between. You know, I say everything, but maybe not everything. Depends what's in between, right? Today we're going to talk about communication, believe it or not. We're going to talk about the transactional element of communication. Now, this may be verbal, this may be physical, whichever means you want to apply this. I'm going to give you food for thought. This is going to be an open discussion. I'm not necessarily going to be, making a complete, foolproof, airtight statement, as it's all up for consideration, observation, discussion. But what's your opinion on communication being transactional? And what I mean by that is, you scratch my back and I scratch yours. It happens sometimes, doesn't happen some other times. If I say hello to you, do you say hello back? And then if you say hello back and I say, how are you? And you answer, if you choose to, do you then say, how am I in return? And if you don't say, how am I in return, and you allow your ego to sing and divulge in a great depth of information, should I respond to that because I've been spoken at and not spoken to? That's up to me. And my imperative. I like the monkeys defleeing each other and scratching each other in return for favours down the line. If I physically touch you, do you physically touch me? Are you more prone to touching me? Now, take into consideration the hierarchy we are existing within, because you might not feel the need to do so if I am of authority. But I can touch you. If I'm in an authoritarian position, is it more so of a command from me than a transactional, equal request? When I bring you a gift, do you feel that pull to return the favour down the line, even though I never asked for anything in return? Do you now have this rope wrapped around you for me to pull at my will, purely because I went out of my way to gift you a present you didn't ask for? Do you feel that? To what extent is communication transactional? Is every form of communication transactional? Is every way I interact with you? Does every way I interact with you garner a response? Garner a pull in my direction through one means or another? If I message you and you're too good for me and don't respond, is it transactional in the sense that I have taken my time to type something to you and now I can exist in your mind momentarily, and the transaction is equal in the realms of you giving me your attention, even though you don't allow me to know. If I am on a night out with you in a club and I buy you a drink, do you feel the need to buy me a drink in response? If I save your life, are you indebted to me forever? Or can you brush it off? You see how these games can get a little bit funny when used and abused, and how the small talks and communications we have with people can wrap us up in 100,000 different ways. To ensure that you are free as possible, must you turn down every bit of unwanted assistance, gifts, help? Must you turn down everything? I hate taking things off of people for free. Now, I can get a promotional free can of Coke from somebody marketing in the city centre, which is transactional, right? Because now you have a taste for it. Now you have Coca-Cola on the mind. Now you may go out into the world and say, they're giving out free Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola. Such as everybody else. Right? There's a purpose for it. I don't like to take stuff from people for free. Oh, don't worry, I'll give you a lift. No, I'll walk. Well, why would you walk? And now you look like a horrible person or an awkward person for choosing to walk as opposed to take this person's gift. Their ego is insulted by the fact you have chosen to deny them of which they have offered you. But you have been forced into a position as to where now you have taken this lift, because if you were to say no, it would be uncomfortable. 2 weeks down the line, they say, my car's broken down. Do you mind giving me a lift? You are obliged to do so, because they have given you a freebie, disregarding the fact that you didn't want it initially. You understand? You see where this transactional problem can manifest. So now I do it and I waste some of my time, which could be used elsewhere. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this in a way to demean the friendships and relationships that may exist in regards to this. But initially, it wouldn't be a problem if I had other stuff to do and I could say, no, sorry, I need to get to the shops. No, sorry, I want to go see my partner for an extra half hour. I want to go see her. That's understandable when you are on an equal playing field, but when the individual in question has given to you what they think was a great favour, initially, they may think, what are you denying me for? I went out of my way for you. When the reality is they didn't go out of their way. They force-fed you something what was advertised as free, but it never is free. there is an obligation. People perceive free as financially free. It's free of cost. It's not free because now I have to put my mental freedom, my time freedom elsewhere, purely as I've been tied into this transactional obligation. I don't like to take stuff for free. Somebody gives you something for free and you take it. That's something they had ownership of. And now do they own you? Do they own a piece of you? Legally speaking, in a lot of industry, if you take something for free off a professional, in some cases they will now own the copyright of the product, of the property. Whereas if you paid them 50 pence, you would have ownership, purely as it was transactional. But if they have gone out of their way to help you, right? Let's talk music. If you go to a studio who says, we will record you for free, and you say, that sounds like a great idea, legally speaking, they have ownership over the finished product, as they have used their tools and items and time in their professional workplace to create this product. Even though you've taken the time to conjure it and create it and perform, you haven't paid for it. It's heavy on one side. Yeah? They own it. Me personally, if I was to take the free lift, I would find my way of giving them some sort of financial return. Okay? Because then I owe you nothing from there. I mean, you forced me into paying you a fiver for the journey, but I appreciate it, and sorry, I just don't like taking things for free. Just please take it. You know, just get yourself some petrol. It's alright, I can do without it. I hope you understand. Now there's no obligation for me to do anything and go out of my way. And don't get me wrong, I can go out of my way when needs be, but I don't want this to bite me in the backside when I don't need it to, you know? I have enough on my plate to consider helping those who have gone out of their way to help me when I never even asked. Is all communication transactional? There's two sides to everything. There is balance in everything. There is dark and light in everything. There is 50-50. There is yes and no. There's no 70-30, no 80-20. Maybe advertised as that. It's always 50-50. Especially when it consists of two individuals, you know? At least that's my perspective. I find balance in everything. Through every positive there is a negative, and through every negative there is a positive. I don't think there is a silver lining. That's not enough. It's half and half in my opinion. But that's my perception on reality, and yours is different. There is one objective reality, but our perception of it is different. How do you perceive it? Click subscribe. I'm signing out. Peace.